You are the only hope of teaching finance to your children. Welcome to Subramani. Subramani is a blog where I encourage people to learn and do their own thing. Don't wait for Narendra Modi to come and clean your house, right? He's doing his job, you do your job. Don't wait for SEBI to come and clean up your portfolio, right? So one of the things is learning about money is something which children do at home. They will not go to school and learn about money. They will not go to college. Their head of HR is not interested in teaching them about how to manage their money. It is your job. So what are the things that you should be teaching them? First and foremost, teach them the power of delayed gratification. Now people say that delayed gratification is difficult to teach because kids are too small. Not true at all. When you take them to a toy shop, show them a small toy and a big toy. It honestly doesn't matter which costs more, but largely kids will believe the bigger is better. Later on in life you can break that myth. That's a different thing, right? So when they are small, you should allow them to collect coins. Show them bigger coins, brighter coins, and they will pick that up, and they will not pick up a soiled coin. And afterwards, when they are 5-7 years of age and they understand the value, then they might pick up the more valuable coin, not the better looking coin or not the shiny coin, right? So they will do that, they will understand. So you're teaching them saving. Put it in a piggy bank, and you can once in a while open the piggy bank, count the money, put it back, and say, look, if you don't touch it for 1 month or if you don't touch it for 6 months, I will top it up. So you write down the balance. Maybe it has got 100 rupees, right? And after 6 months, you find that it has only grown. You have not given him much, but he has saved from here and there, and now he has got 110 rupees. Now you tell him, wow, I am impressed. Now this extra 10 rupees which you got, I will contribute another 10, so it becomes 120. Look, I am just using numbers. You can make it 1,000 and 10,000 or whatever, but piggy bank amounts can't be too high. So whenever he goes out to buy something, or somebody gives him a coin, he immediately rushes and puts it there. That is a good habit. Second, when kids are little older, you buy them a slab of chocolate and you tell them you have to eat one piece at a time. Now when we were young, we were brought up on the concept that a big chocolate is not eaten in full. Parts are broken and given to various people, and the remaining is put in the fridge and it is consumed over a week or 3 days or 2 days, whatever, depending on the number of people in your house. I remember I would open the fridge, I would salivate at the chocolate, and I knew my mother knew how many pieces were left, and that is how we were taught to eat chocolates. I don't think my mother had any intentions of teaching me delayed gratification, but I think that's an amazing way to teach, and even today you can teach. Showing them a smaller toy and a bigger toy. I mean, one of the readers suggested this. If you go to my blog, a reader named Vandana suggested this. Show them a small toy, show them a big toy. Give them the small toy today and the big toy after a week or after 10 days. Again, method of teaching delayed gratification. Tell them stories. You have so many stories on compounding. The Jesus story, the chess story, and you will find all this in my blog. If you go and search for the Jesus story or the chess story, you will find those stories. So, or you will find it on the net also. Also look at something called the marshmallow test. Again, it's been there in the comments to the article, for which I am giving you a link. Learn, all this is helping in delayed gratification and the power of compounding. Power of compounding is stunning. When you do and give them examples over 10 years, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, this is more to teach them the power of compounding. Obviously, you can do this only after the kid has reached 7th standard. You can't teach this to a 6-year-old. They will not understand, but they will still understand the story. Saying, if you put money now and you don't touch it for a long period of time, tell them about mango trees which somebody has planted. Maybe your father or your grandfather planted it, and even today you can get mangoes. Again, delayed gratification, right? So, delayed gratification and power of compounding are some good things to start off with. Also remember, good financial habits start early, and all good habits or bad habits are caught, not taught. CAUGHT, caught. Whatever you do, if you and your wife fight about money, your children will say, oh, money is the cause of all fights. That is how they will interpret. What you think is not important, what they think and how they interpret is far more important. So for heaven's sake, don't fight about money. Talk about money, argue about money, that's fine, but don't fight. Put up small processes by which you pay your monthly bills, etc. Let your son or daughter who is 7 years old or 10 years old know how much is your monthly electricity bill, how much is your telephone bill, right? Kids can know. By the time they are in 7th standard or 8th standard, they can start making the payment on your credit card. Let them look at the bill every month which comes online and let them make the payment. Of course, you can automate it, then it's even simpler because you're sitting somewhere, the bill comes, you get an SMS and it gets paid. That is the best, but it's a great way to teach children. In fact, I would even think that if you keep money for expenses in your wife's account and keep very limited amount of money and make sure that your wife makes the payment, sometimes you make the payment, sometimes your son or daughter make the payment. Because there is one thing to take term insurance saying if I die they will get the money, but teaching them how to use the money, teaching them how to grow the money, teaching them how to spend the money, knowing how to do the operations is very useful. Giving delivery of shares, whatever, get your children involved, teach them all those things. Everything is necessary. All that you know they need to know. They need to know why you go to a chartered accountant for filing your income tax return and why you go to a financial advisor for managing your mutual fund, and why you have an insurance consultant, insurance advisor who is separate, who comes or you make the payment online. But they should know why you go to so many people. They know why you go to a dentist. They know why you go to or why your wife goes to a gynecologist. That is something which they know. Whereas financial portions are not so clear. So you don't want them going to a chartered accountant and saying, will you handle my investments? It is your job to tell them what role each of these people play. At what age? Maybe 12, maybe 13. That's a great age to start them. Make sure that financial planning, goal setting, etc. is a family activity. This is family wealth. None of us are earning money for ourselves. We are earning money for our families. So your family needs to know how to earn it, how to spend it, how to pay tax on it, how to save it, how to invest it, how to protect it. All these things which you know, you have to teach your kids. Kids, including if your wife is not very conversant with money managing, her also. If she doesn't take interest or your kids have already reached 15, 16 years of age, it's fine to involve all the three. Involve them. Your wife may get bored, she may not listen, doesn't matter. As long as your children listen, if you are not there, they will help her, but at least make sure everybody else knows all these things. Remember, kids also influence your decision. So teach kids that it's great to get a scholarship to go abroad. That's the best way to go abroad. Otherwise, what you will do, how will you pay? Since you have 20 crores, you don't mind paying 2 crores for the education abroad. But since you have only 4 crores, you want your kid to borrow money abroad. And remember, even when your kid borrows money to go abroad and the amount is big, it is your money at stake because you have to give personal guarantees. Make sure children understand all this. As to why you will say no to a 20 lakh rupee car, but suddenly when your daughter's friend's father has a medical emergency, you are the first one to give a 2 lakh rupee check, right? It's about prioritizing. It's nothing right or wrong. Teach the children all that. Prioritizing you have to teach. They will not learn it in the outside world. There is nobody willing to teach. Every mutual fund will come and sell them some 4,000 schemes from which to pick. Which if you are offered 4,000 schemes, you have to say no 3,998 times, right? And you have to say yes only twice. Teach them to say no. If you don't understand money, say no, right? Give them budgets with which to work. Tell them this is Diwali, here is 10,000 rupees. You have to buy a dress, you have to buy this, you have to do this. Teach them how to give away things also. When they buy a new toy, teach them to give away an old toy. When you buy them new books, teach them to or force them to give away old books, right? There is no better charity than giving away books and explaining it to people how to read it. That's great. It is also teaching them how to use their resources, right? You can keep accumulating. I mean, I think the biggest mistake I have is this bookshelf, because you realize that you buy books and you just put it there and you don't read it. So you have to kick yourself into reading it. Similarly, teach them about money, teach them about insurance, teach them about mutual fund, teach them about banking. Believe me, banking story can be told to a 8-year-old also, to a 9-year-old also. They understand insurance, they understand mutual fund. It's not some rocket science. Don't think you need to go at IIT, IIM, you need to get a rank in your chartered accountancy to understand. It's very basic. Kids understand. Kids have more IQ than you have. I deal with kids, and believe me, kids come with brilliant explanations as to what things are happening in the world. They understand, they read. There is an information overload. The information overload is the word of our generation. Kids don't talk of an overload. They say, I just skip it. They have no problem skipping it. They don't have to mug too many things. They know they can go to Google. They can speak something to get it. They don't even touch it. My daughter would go to Google and say, send dad a mail. If I ask her for some details, she will go to her room, pick up her phone and say, send dad a mail. So it sets up the whole Google thing, and then she'll just type it and I get it in mail. That is the height of using technology or height of laziness. I'm not getting into it. But teach them all these things. It's useful. Right? Thank you.